Hello, Franklin County. It's great to be back in Greenfield. This is the second time I've been here as a candidate. I came a number of times when I worked for Governor Patrick and authorized funding for important projects here, like the courthouse, Greenfield Community College, the Garden Theater renovation. So it's great to be back, and it's great to be here with all of you. A number of people who are committed to that core American value, and that is making progress. So my entire life, I've been surrounded by people who've proven our potential for progress. I worked for John Glenn, an American hero who literally reached for the stars and got there. I got to serve as a cabinet secretary for Governor Patrick, and you all know his life story. It proves the American dream exists, and he never lost sight of all those continuing to reach for it. And there are many others in my life who've proven this point, but no one more than my parents. My mom is from Cleveland, Ohio. And during college, she went away on a foreign exchange program to Spain. 9 months later, she came back married to my 19-year-old Spanish father and pregnant with me. And I love telling that story to parents who have kids going on foreign exchange programs. They didn't have a lot. My mom had to drop out of college to take care of me. My dad didn't speak English, and he'd never been to college. But he worked his way from laying bricks in a city sewer system to becoming a successful small businessman and a proud American citizen. My mom went back to college when I was in high school and became a public school teacher. Remember the teachers union? Together they put all 3 sons through college, and this year, against all odds, they'll be celebrating their 48th wedding anniversary. Through that example, and through the way they parented us, they always encouraged us to set high expectations for ourselves. And they instilled in us a belief that with hard work and little help, reaching those expectations was actually possible. Now, those values aren't unique to me and my family. Those are our values, American values. And no one has reached higher, worked harder, and accomplished more together than the incredible people of Massachusetts. We started the Revolutionary War. We were the first to establish a public school and a public park, the first to recognize one's right to marry whoever you love, the first to make universal health insurance coverage a reality. And the list goes on and on and on. This is who we are. We have always been a leader, but we aren't leading right now, not under Governor Baker. I've been frustrated by how little our governor's accomplished, but I've been more frustrated by how little he's even tried. It is not good enough to simply accept the world the way it exists and try to manage it better. We need a governor who's going to see the way the world should be and take us to that place. Let's aim high. Let's be us. Let's give working families across the state a better deal, an economy that works for everybody, not just those at the top. How about a living wage, paid family leave, affordable housing, and higher education, and child care, an issue I feel passionate about? How about this crazy idea? A transportation system across this entire state that people can actually depend on to get to work on time, right? Let's aim high when it comes to our dysfunctional healthcare system and implement a single-payer system that's simpler, cheaper, and will do a better job keeping people healthy. Let's aim high when it comes to other big challenges we face, like climate change, the biggest threat to our planet, and our broken criminal justice system, which has jailed way too many for way too long. And more important than any of that, let's aim high when it comes to how we treat people. Let's do it. Let's aim high. If we do, I know we can build a better future for everybody. That's the lesson my parents taught me. It's the American story. It's what the people of Massachusetts have proven over and over again. And it's what we should expect from our government and from ourselves. And that's why I'm running for governor. I'm not a career politician. I'm not going to make whatever political calculation I need to make just to win at whatever cost. That's not why I'm in this. I'm in this because I care about people, and I want to make a difference in people's lives. And if that's the type of candidate you want, if you believe we need to aim high, if you want Massachusetts to actually be a leader again, then I hope to earn your support, and I hope you will join our grassroots campaign. Thank you very much.
Mr. Warren?
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? It is great to be with you. Congratulations on the progressives that won here. Give yourself a round of applause, and also give your rep a round of applause. Rep Art, she's amazing. We're lucky to have you. Look, there are three things that drove me into this race for governor. My 9 years in the military, I enlisted a little bit after 9/11. I'm an Iraq War veteran, and during that year, I worked with people of all different backgrounds, races, religions, political persuasions. We had to work together to get through that year. The second is my 8 years as mayor of the city of Newton, working for the 88,000 people of my community every day. When I started running for mayor in 2009, my city had a $40 million structural deficit, no rainy day or reserve fund, two of the worst conditioned school buildings in the state of Massachusetts. I got to work, knocked on 11,000 doors, and I won that campaign by 469 votes. Good old grassroots politics. In the 8 years since I've been mayor, my last day was Monday. We've eliminated the $40 million structural deficit. We grew a rainy day fund that didn't really exist to $20 million. We're building 5 new schools in the next 6 years, 3 of which are done, the next being constructed now. We're rebuilding our fire stations, our sidewalks, and our roads, our infrastructure, and protecting public safety. We have 2 triple priorities in the city of Newton. I'm really proud of what we did to invest in the people in my community. And third, my family. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, 2 children, 9 and 6, and I know where I came from. You see, my dad grew up in a tough neighborhood in Harlem. It was deemed the worst block in America by CBS News at the time because of the drugs, gangs, and violence. He got out of that life by joining the military. He went to Korea, came home, met my mom. They went down south to college. It took them 6 years to finish, threw themselves in the civil rights movement. And my dad found Newton, Mass. because he was looking for higher ed. And he purchased a home where I grew up with my 2 sisters and where I live today, with my wife and 9-year-old and 6-year-old, with GI Bill benefits. GI Bill benefits. This is a government-sponsored program, an investment for people of modest means so they can ensure their kids can do better than they did. That is not happening in the Commonwealth today, and it is wrong. It's bad economics, but there's a moral question attached to it, and I've asked everyone to ask themselves this question. What kind of Commonwealth do we want to be? What kind of Commonwealth do we want to be? Are we okay with people making choices between paying for a copay and going to the doctor or paying for the mortgage or rent? Are we okay with people making choices between paying for prescription drugs they need for themselves or their family members or putting food on the table? Are we okay with people being crushed by student debt, can't afford to obtain the credentials they need to make ends meet in this economy? I do not believe this is okay. I believe we can do better. That's why I put forward 2 proposals, among many, when I announced for governor, one of which is putting in place a single-payer healthcare system in our state now, so that people can access affordable healthcare. And the second is free public college, lifelong, with paid internships and apprenticeships, so that people can attain the credentials they need to make ends meet in this economy. I'll end with this. I know we're going to talk a lot about policy this afternoon, but I want to share a quick story with you. A young man stood up in a classroom at UMass Lowell and asked me a question. He said, "What's the biggest challenge that you see in this race coming up in 2018? I said, there are 2 things. One is accepting the status quo, and the second is thinking that we can't do anything about it. I do not believe we should embrace the status quo, and I do not believe we should embrace the low expectations that Charlie Baker wants us to. And we can do something about it. We can change healthcare so it's affordable. We can change education so it's accessible. We can make sure we have housing and transportation that accommodates everyone across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We should not accept the status quo, and you showed you can do something about it by winning these elections over the last several weeks. We can do something about it in 2018. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having us.
Next, we're moving into the questions prepared by FCCPR, and as a reminder, we will have 3 minutes per person for answers. Our first question comes from our Education Task Force and goes to Mr. Gonzalez. If elected governor, would you ask the Commissioner of Education to implement a moratorium on standardized testing for 2 years as suggested in Senate Bill 308 to reject additional charter schools and implement an immediate adjustment to the funding mechanism for current charters, and to fully fund public education K through 16.
So let me start in answering this question by stating my mentality on this issue. I think the most fundamental responsibility we have collectively through our common instrument of government is to make sure every single child in the state has access to a great public education. It is our number one priority, and should be. In answering the question on the funding piece, fully funding Chapter 70 and local school districts, and I'll add in there the part about the charter school reimbursement, yes, we should fully fund it. The question talks about, should we be directing the commissioner to do that? The truth is, we need a governor who's going to provide the leadership we need to say we need additional revenue in state government in order to adequately fund public education across the state. And right now, we've got a governor who is not saying that. I am, I think my colleagues are as well. It's one of the reasons I support the millionaire's tax. It's going to be on the ballot in 2018 with the governor's race, because it's going to generate meaningful new revenue we desperately need for education and for transportation. So yes, I'm fully funding. In terms of high-stakes testing, I do think we need a way to measure whether or not, we need to be measuring whether or not our kids are learning what we're teaching, and whether we're doing a good job educating our kids and preparing them for success. I worry that we're testing too much. I also worry that the testing is happening, and the focus on it is happening at the expense of a lot of other important things our kids need to be learning, and at the expense of other factors we should be considering in terms of their success and our schools' performance. Lastly, on charter schools. I absolutely think we should be telling the commissioner not to be approving any more charter schools, and essentially building a separate public school system from the one we have right now. We should not be creating a competitive system and a few more schools, even if you believe they were better, for a few more kids. It's a cop-out. We need a great public school system for every single child. We need the public schools that exist to have the resources and support they need to be successful for our kids. And so I would not support any further growth in charter schools. I think we need to be focusing resources on the schools we have that our kids depend on to get the education they need.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Next we'll hear from Mr. Warren.
Thank you. Look, I'm a product of Newton Public Schools. I graduated from Newton North High School. Both of my kids go to Newton Public Schools. I believe strongly in public education. At the end of my tenure as your governor, if you give me that honor, I believe that we will see vast improvement in public education. I want to be known as the education governor here in Massachusetts. I believe very, very strongly as a sitting member of my school committee for 8 years that good education starts with great teachers. It also needs investment for those teachers, class sizes that are manageable, and buildings that are adequate for children to learn. Folks, we need to invest in public education. At this moment, the state of Massachusetts is not committed to ever educating every single child in every single district in this state. The formula needs to be redone. We need to make investment in our schools. This is why I was a strong no on question 2. I campaigned against it. We absolutely should not be adding additional charter schools. We know that the formula has been underfunded for many, many years. I want to talk about high-stakes testing. I know, as many of you know, that high-stakes testing does not produce good educational outcomes. We know that. We need to move away from high-stakes testing in the state of Massachusetts. I will tell you, I do have concerns about putting a 2-year moratorium in place. At this, I would not support that. Lastly, I want to say, I want you to ask my teachers union in the city of Newton what kind of mayor I've been. I have been dedicated to education. Education is the bedrock of our community, and you can ask the parents, ask the teacher community. We work collaboratively to address the achievement gap, to address falling down buildings in the city that kids were learning in, and vastly improvements. I feel strongly we'll do the same thing as governor of the state of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Massey, if you could just...
Yes, thank you very much. I think that I'm the only candidate up here who's actually been a teacher. I taught when I was much younger in the K through 8 school, and then I was a university professor for 7 or 8 years. So I think I bring that perspective of how important it is for education to ignite people's minds and help them to grow as human beings. I, too, support the Fair Share Amendment. This is a critical step. We put about $7 billion into education at the state. About $4.5 of it comes to local communities. This would add almost an extra $1 billion. That's important, but it is not enough. And part of the problem is that that foundation budget that we heard about has been consistently underfunding communities, and in addition, burdening communities with transportation costs that we cannot afford. And then when we look at what's happening to local communities, who also have to then pay for higher healthcare costs and all the other important elements of running a city, we see that education has consistently been squeezed. And so we have a fundamental decision to make, which is what kind of future do we want to design for our kids. I think that I don't believe we can eliminate all testing, because I agree that we need to have some mechanism for finding out how kids are doing and how schools are doing. But at the very moment when the global economy is rewarding people for creativity, for imagination, for collaboration, for cooperation schools, we're forcing our kids to spend hours drilling for these tests, and that's bad for teachers and that's bad for kids. I also think charter schools have become the bane of education in Massachusetts because they are stealing money from the public school system. And I'm particularly horrified that this governor has turned to his own appointees and cronies to fund the Question 2 campaign, for which they were fined hundreds of thousands of dollars for disobeying core campaign rules. And so that's a very deep problem. So finally, I just want to say that we need to look at these problems in an interconnected way. I think that's something I bring, is that I understand the interconnection of our systems and what sustainability would look like when it comes to education. Let me give you a quick example. If we improve our affordable housing, then you actually improve child and maternal health. If you improve child and maternal health, then you improve performance in schools. And if you improve performance in schools, you create the likelihood of better achievement and jobs. I just want to say, I grew up with a disability. I would not be where I am today if I had not benefited from scholarships all the way through my life from very elite schools. But I want those opportunities to be spread across this state. That is the right of our children and something that a governor must fight for. Thank you.